Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe. Right. I don't think it's a great football team, but still a ranked team. And then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I may have ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I love it, Joe. I love this. I love this time of year. I love Mondays on the network. I love Monday Night Football. I love talking about what happened on Sunday and getting angry and giving your opinions out here. This is what we do on the SportsGrid Network. This is how we table set for the rest of the day. I got to tell you, Joe, I was really run down late last week. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Voice was a little bit weak, wasn't really getting sick, but feeling run down, going, I don't know what's going to happen. And I hit the Energizer Bunny over the weekend. College Football Today on Saturday, myself and Joe Leese had a great time there. Watched the boys there certainly yesterday, Joe and Kevin on Pro Football Today. Everybody doing in-game live and football season here. And I wake up on a Monday, and I feel fantastic. I feel rejuvenated, Joe, by football just in my veins right now.
Yeah, it has that effect on you, Donnie, doesn't it? Where you get up and you're like, all right, it's been a long week, but oh, wait a minute. We got wall-to-wall football, college, then the NFL, and then we get to start it all over again next. Yeah, gives you that little boost that you might need. Better than a double espresso, in fact.
No, it is way better than that. And by the way, Thursday Night Football, I really like to watch it. You had opening day last week, Eagles and Cowboys. We were always going to watch whoever's playing on opening night. This Thursday night, Joe, Washington and Green Bay. We're not even through Monday night yet. I'm already looking next week till Thursday, and away we go in this point. But it's lovely. It's fantastic. Now it's time for the 7 and 7, the hottest topics across the sports landscape. Now, early in the season, sometimes, Joe, you don't really know what you're going to get in the first 2 weeks. And then we find out what those football teams are about late September into October. The one thing I thought, the Baltimore Ravens could be the class of the NFL this year. And I'm not saying they're not, but my goodness, last night, a game where you could have had a major victory to start the season on the road against the Buffalo Bills and have that tiebreaker if you needed it late in the season. If those teams were tied, you'd get home field advantage. Credit the Buffalo Bills for coming back, but my goodness, what happened to the Ravens? 41-40 final. Josh Allen, MVP Josh Allen, brought the boys back, Joe.
A lot of firsts last night. It's the first time in a long time that I can remember Bills Mafia giving up in the fourth quarter on their team and heading to the exits because they were down 15 points. But in fact, Donnie, it was, just when you think you've seen everything, last night heading into that game, all right, think about this. A team that had scored 40 points was up by 15 after 3 quarters, was 772-0 straight up in the NFL. Now 772-1. That is how unbelievable what Buffalo did last night. That comeback in the final 9 minutes, it never happens in the NFL, but it happened in Buffalo last night.
I'm I'm still shocked by this. And I always have, lowered units in the first 2 weeks of the season before you feel those football teams. But looking at the week, I did okay over the weekend, but I was like, man, I really like the Ravens. 1.5 point spread. They just have to win that football game. You watch the opening. Yes, the Buffalo Bills took the 7-0 lead, but the team that was better for the majority of the night was the Ravens. But you can't make mistakes, Joe, against good football teams. Fans, the Buffalo fans don't want to give up, but we're also human beings. Man, we're not coming back from 15 down now. I got work tomorrow. I had a disappointing day. I was drinking beers in the parking lot. At least got to get home and get some rest. That's why they left, because nobody thought they would come back. And that graphic that we showed to start this segment showed everybody should have left the stadium because nobody ever comes back from that deficit. And they did. 99.1% chance against winning. So Tom Vecchio just joined us. He had the money line, Joe. He had 99.1 chance to win that football game. And they took money out of his pocket. How's it happen? Oh, it hurts.
It does, but it's crazy too, because I think it closed Baltimore -1, and it turns out Buffalo wins -1. So I mean, the books were on it from the beginning. The total, I thought maybe we'd get a bit of more of a defensive battle, but I could not have been more wrong there. That was almost 1,000 yards of combined offense last night in that game. That is just absolutely crazy.
It was crazy. And how about this? Xavier Worthy now down probably for multiple weeks here. Separated shoulder, going to wear a harness when he comes back. Doubt he plays against the Philadelphia Eagles. And also keep in mind, Rashee Rice not coming back for a few weeks either. Down your top 2 wide receivers. Never a good sign for the Kansas City Chiefs, who've always struggled now seemingly with the big play.
And insult to injury, it was Travis Kelce that took him out. It wasn't even it wasn't even a charger. It was Travis Kelce who comes across in a crossing pattern and levels him. Absolutely levels him. And now, just like that, the Chiefs, another weapon down here. I don't know who's left that they can sign here off the scrap heap, Donnie, but we'll find out.
Yeah, maybe they go back to DeAndre Hopkins when he gets cut because he's in MIA as well at this point. Those vets. You know who can save him? Odell Beckham Jr. Please call him up, Andy. Yes. Let's let that charade continue for a little bit longer. I'll tell you who was happy yesterday, and it showed in the post-game press conference. It was Aaron Rodgers. Played a really good football team, a really good football game, and they won. The conquering non-hero returns to the Meadowlands and gets a victory. Ouch, Jets fans.
I mean, listen, he single-handedly did it because there was no running game for Pittsburgh. There was no defense for Pittsburgh, and he had to, with his arm, get it done. They did. Special teams bailed out Pittsburgh. Another one-score win for Mike Tomlin. He always seems to get those, but the Jets had every opportunity. Listen, I'll say this. I think Aaron Rodgers, you keep getting hit like you got hit in that game, and you won't be around long enough to make a difference at the end of the season.
You won't be around next year. Used to be a famous song there back in the 1990s for the people out there that really know. But Cal Raleigh, he's a real one here. 53 home runs on the season. Smacked another one in Atlanta as the Mariners smacked around the Atlanta Braves 18-2.
They needed that, too, because this has been one of the worst road trips for the Mariners. They finally got a couple of wins against Atlanta after dropping the opener, but they can't wait to get back to Seattle. And Cal Raleigh, 53 home runs. I still don't think he's going to be able to overtake Judge, though.
No, I don't know if he will either, but I'll tell you who is overtaking everything. It's Shohei Ohtani, who hit 2 home runs yesterday, now sits at minus 50,000 to win the NL MVP. I told you, Joe, weeks ago, it should be minus 2 million. You said, look, you got anybody out there got 50 grand laying around, go to the casino, put it down, win your $100. How about that?
So you're saying Schwarber has a chance. Is that what I'm hearing from you, Phillies fan? Yeah. Is that what I'm getting? Yeah, you think? Just maybe a couple of bucks? Yeah, no. Anybody who thought Ohtani would just disappear into the night, yeah, no. Just name the award after him. It's his.
Ohtani pitches and hits 50 bombs in a year. It doesn't make sense. He's going to get hated on for the next couple of years. Like, it's not fair we give him the MVP because he gets the pitch. That's how he's going to be graded in the next couple of years. How about Sabalenka and Alcaraz, champions of the U.S. Open? Are you excited about that, Joe? Did you love it?
Yeah, little chalky for my taste this weekend at the U.S. Open, but I'll say it again. I mean, shocker how Alcaraz and Sinner ended up in the final of a major championship because we almost never see it. And what was with that outfit, by the way? Like, what? You see that? You were going to wear that color combo, weren't you, Donnie, today, right? In celebration, I had to talk you off the ledge.
Post-Labor Day at that point, right? I mean, come on now. Are you allowed to wear the pink post-Labor Day? Is that like a
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think that was the
no
problem.
rules here. No rules. By the way, last night, no rules on you should have had, like, the sportsbook should be giving your money back last night if you had the Ravens. Like, you should be getting a refund to their refund check, and away you go into the season. But also, we understand that you do need bounce-back performances. Next week, Baltimore is home to Cleveland. They're already up to 12.5 at a lot of outlets here. Cleveland actually showed up with some defense. Is that one you say, like, Baltimore runs away with that? Or are we going to get, like, a lag effect, like, oh, woe is us. I can't believe we lost. Let's hopefully win the next game, Joe. Almost 2-touchdown favorite now.
Woo. Again, divisional, opponent here, rivalry. Nothing is going to be easy in the AFC North with these teams this year. So they're going to have their hands full. They should have their hands full here as an AFC North, member. I think that game's going to be closer than most people do.
Ooh, Joe Flacco, Kenny Steele, and the Browns should be 1-0 this year. Come on now, Brownies. But we got Monday Night Football to talk about the NFC North. Come on back. J.J. McCarthy, Caleb Williams.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Matthew Golden, one of my favorite prospects coming out of Texas. He had an incredible game against Arizona last year in the college football playoffs. Just, big touchdown after big touchdown, big moment after big moment. I loved him all year. And I was a little, skeptical at first, like, okay, well, it's kind of a crowded wide receiver room. And guess what? It's getting less crowded because everybody's hurt in Green Bay. Matthew Golden is the truth. He's the only guy healthy enough to play.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Donnie, the season is 6 months, 5 if you check out in September. You're going to have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month. That is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're going to win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes what. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Are you ready for some football? It is a Monday night party tonight in the NFC North. It's the Chicago Bears and it's the Minnesota Vikings. Before we handicap the game, Joe, did you know a tweet surfaced from Dov Kleiman yesterday showing a 4-year-old J.J. McCarthy going to his first NFL game where the Bears hosted the Vikings 18 years ago. A little Urlacher jersey, a little Paul right there. Kid was all fired up now. He's looking to slay the beast tonight.
Yes, he is. And you know what? We're going to have a pretty good idea. Listen, I think coaching matters in the NFL. We all understand this. You know, the NBA is all about how many stars can you put on a team. The NFL is about how good is the coaching staff here. And in Minnesota, they got a pretty good one as a head coach and a pretty good one as the DC as well. So if McCarthy is going to have success, you don't have to look very far than what he did to Sam Darnold a year ago there in Minnesota to think he going to be okay. He might very well be that bear killer tonight.
If we do take a look at the line, Joe, because the graphic that we're going to pop up does show 2.5. I'm going to explain to you the reason why it says that. It was basically 1.5 all week long. Late last night, Joe, East Coast time, 11:52. We had some steam hit that up to 2.5. Carries through all night. When we opened up the show today on the early line, Joe, 7 a.m. Eastern, it was still 2.5. Around 7:21 Eastern, you got that pushback from 2.5 back down to 1.5. Any reasons why you think some steam hit last night and into this morning on this game?
Listen, could just be a head fake there, Donnie. Push the market up, see what kind of reaction you get. There's obviously competing sides here. You've got one group that thinks Minnesota is very alive here. You got another one that thinks, I got a home dog in a divisional matchup that tends to be pretty profitable in week one over the years, Donnie, to back that home dog. So I don't know how much more it's going to move. But if you like those same game parlays, I might have one for you here as a best bet.
Yeah, because we're also looking at, like, Jalen Johnson's a very good cornerback here. He's questioned with a calf strain. That would really hurt. TJ Edwards, starting linebacker, I should say, out with the hamstring injury. So some injuries impacting here Chicago's defense on that side. The total, though, Joe, opened up initially at 45.5. We're down to 43.5. Now, Tom Vecchio joined us a little bit earlier talking about this game. He thinks it might be a little bit slower of a start. Do you get that idea? Because Ben Johnson is known for his aggressiveness here. And if you are looking at J.J. McCarthy, I get it's his first start. But also Kevin O'Connell, a very aggressive offensive play caller. And you got some weapons on both sides here. Are we looking at it under? Do you believe in that line move to the lower part of it at 43.5?
Absolutely. And listen, both of these offenses, I had mentioned, you got 4 new starters on the offensive line for Minnesota. Darisaw is coming back off of the injury, but he's the guy that's anchoring that offensive line. But they spent a lot of money in the offseason to build this offensive line, which is what you're supposed to do. But you know what? So did the Bears. The Bears didn't do anything on defense. Pretty much the same team is coming back that was there a year ago on that side of the ball. But they, too, made a lot of different adjustments on the offensive line here to help Caleb Williams. So there might be some growing pains the first early stretches here of not just this game, but maybe the first couple of games of the season with both these offenses.
Yeah, looking at the receiving props, too, like Justin Jefferson banged up a little bit in the preseason, worried about that hamstring. He's full go tonight. He's 80.5. DJ Moore, wide receiver for the Chicago Bears, coming in at 57.5. Romo Dunze at 50.5. Hockenson and Loveland. I think Loveland's an interesting one because that's a guy that you drafted specifically for Ben Johnson to use, and I think he's going to have some decent routes in this game. 28.5 makes a lot of sense. Are you pinpointing, Joe? Let's even go to the running game. Rushing yards and or receiving yards. Any ideas on where you'd like to play or some players that you might think do some damage tonight?
Yeah, well, I think, Aaron Jones has got to be a big part of this for Minnesota, does he not? They got to be able to establish some sort of running game here. Otherwise, like Tom Vecchio had mentioned last hour, you're not going to ask this kid to drop back 35, 40 times against that Chicago pass rush. So I do think that expect a running game and expect a pretty decent running game, I believe, as well from Minnesota.
Yeah, you're looking at two because Aaron Jones, 49.5, which basically means get me to 50 yards. Jordan Mason, the backup there, 37.5. The expectations are if you have 2 running backs here, one around 50, one around 40, that they're going to get a lot of handoffs tonight. DeAndre Swift for the Chicago Bears, 53.5. Caleb Williams and the quarterbacks here, interesting. Right. Caleb's 23.5 and J.J. McCarthy is 17.5. I always loved it. Early in the season, young quarterbacks, what do they tend to do? The play breaks down, they're running. They got fresh legs. They don't know, hey, save it for week 16. They don't know that week number 1. That's all they're looking for at this point. So I do think they're interesting options on that end of it. But if we are looking, Joe, I asked Tom Vecchio the same question. The touchdown market tonight, everybody is plus money numbers. Are you leaning more on the running game to score touchdowns or players in the passing game to score touchdowns tonight?
I think maybe the players in the passing game here. And I think there could be an interesting tight end in this one that might actually get into the end zone there with TJ Hawkinson. So why not in the red zone, let these two quarterbacks get aired out a little bit. I don't think it's going to be the big play. I think it's going to be, the misdirection kind of situation there where they're going to fake the run, and there could be some wide open guys in the end zone here.
Yeah, some fun bets that you can make here. DJ Moore and Justin Jefferson. Now, see, you know what? I like this stuff because I like looking at some of these fun prop bets. DJ Moore should be the top wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. Justin Jefferson, obviously the top wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. There's a prop bet out here at 11-1 for them to have 5+ receiving yards in each quarter. That's not a tall tale. Like, that has to have. I feel like, Joe, if you can get through the first quarter in this one, I think you get this one. I do.
Yeah, that is not a bad look. And the question is, how much duress is McCarthy going to be under in order to be getting? Now, again, don't forget, no Jordan Addison, right? So Thielen is there. But don't forget, the Bears surrendered the 5th most yards to tight ends last season here. So if Jefferson ain't there, you get a little dink and dunk here with Hawkinson as well.
Dinkin and Duncan moving it up and down the field. Getting these young quarterbacks in rhythm, Joe, always interesting to watch the start of it. But again, a big Monday Night Football game in Chicago that now currently has the Minnesota Vikings as the favorites at a -1.5 spread here. Money line, if you want the Vikings, -124, and the total listed at 43.5. Awesome stuff in the NFL. Let's get back to some of those recaps. I really want to take a look at what happened to the Detroit offense. We'll find out next.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Dallas Cowboys losing that pass rush, losing another big impact player on the defensive side, all this does is make me like Dak Prescott more and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens more, because what we talked about all offseason, right, Matt, which is, hey, when Dak is healthy, he is a top 5 fantasy quarterback, and the defense we think is okay, but we think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. Now I definitely think there's going to be a lot more shootouts.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
The reason why I feel like Jared Goff doesn't really enter these MVP conversations. Jared Goff last year was on the team with the best record in football, threw for 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, and Tom was never in the race. He was never in the race because we know he's not that guy.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The early line getting down to business here on a Monday. Armchair Quarterback Monday, some of my favorite days here. And again, Survivor picks unite here. The Denver Broncos 20, the Tennessee Titans 12, and the highest point spread of the week, which was 8.5. You see that final score, do the math. 20 minus 12 equals 8 points. What a cover for the Titans. And let's start with the spread magic, Joe. Late in that game, the Denver Broncos in elevation around the 35-yard line could have elected to kick a field goal, up 8 points to make it 11. 2-score game, can't come back. But, what happens if we miss this field goal? We would let Tennessee with good field position back into the football game. So instead, the Broncos go for it, don't get it. And a lot of people upset with that move by Sean Payton.
Yeah, because that would have been the cover that they needed in that game, as I think they closed as an 8.5-point underdog. But quite honestly, they had no business even being that close. That was one of the most frustrating games. They were also, I believe, in just about every survivor pool, they were the number one pick heading into the weekend. Arizona was second, and it was a sweat job. But I'll tell you one thing, Bo Nix and that offense, head-scratching. Absolutely head-scratching. 4 turnovers in that game. They did everything in their power to give Tennessee a chance to win that. But you know who didn't and shut the door? That Denver defense is ridiculous. That Denver defense is the real deal. And they single-handedly won that game yesterday for the Denver Broncos and saved everybody who had them. They had no business covering that game anyway, the way they played. And oh, by the way, the Tennessee Titans had more penalty yards than they had offensive yards in that game yesterday, Donnie.
Yeah, that's a good defense. That is a really bone-crushing front seven. Nick Bonito, as we said, got that big contract here, certainly paying off in week number 1. They can rely on that defense. Like, as you see that graphic coming up right there, I mean, absolutely fantastic stuff. Expectations, again, rookie quarterbacks in the NFL on the road, in elevation, playing in a hostile environment, probably not going to fare all that well. But they did actually cover the spread, which, once again, spread drama late in that game. Kick that field goal. Everybody goes home happy. Not necessarily, but the Denver Broncos still picked up that victory. Let's keep it here back to the NFC. 27-13 final. I really like the Green Bay Packers in this game against the Detroit Lions. I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of the Lions with losing Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And what I got was an efficient Jordan Love and a very good defensive performance by the Green Bay Packers. And head-scratching, where was the big playability? Where was the big running game? A touchdown late to Tisla. And outside of that, you got nothing out of the Lions.
Yeah, this game was over in the first half. And Donnie, I didn't think, and I don't think, that you are going to get any close to a version of Jared Goff and his offense that you saw with Sean McVay calling plays for him back in the day, or Ben Johnson. The OC that replaced him, the last time he actually called plays was for the 2017 Jets. And oh, yeah, by the way, they were the third worst offense in the National Football League that year. Yeah, this was a mismatch early on. Now, Detroit's defense figured it out because Jordan Love picked them apart early in this game. And then they eventually made it, and scoring was hard to come by in the second half. I did like the under, but I don't think Detroit's offense is going to even remotely look like what it did over the last couple of years.
Like, Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the more explosive players in the NFL. He had 10 catches. I'll tell you, like, what did he get, 155 yards receiving? No, 10 catches for 31 yards receiving. Handing him the football, 9 carries for 19 yards. How about David Montgomery? 11 carries for 25 yards. Micah Parsons played partially in this game. Wasn't a full-time starter. Obviously worried about that back injury. Ends up getting a sack late in that game. But this is a Green Bay defense that was really good last year and seemingly hitting on all cylinders in week number 1. But really a quick question, Joe, for the Detroit Lions. It's one game. It's against a very good opponent on the road. But the one thing you can always hang your hat on was Detroit was always aggressive and looked fantastic on offense. 39 passing attempts for Jared Goff, only got 225 yards in a losing effort. That's tough.
Yeah, no, it was, they looked out of sync. They looked out of sorts. They didn't, it looked like Green Bay knew exactly what was coming before it came, and that was it. I mean, this was over in the first half of that game. The second half didn't matter. Green Bay just sat on the ball at that point. But Detroit offensively got a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. No, it says a lot of work to do. The Houston Texans on offense. They lose 14-9 to the Rams in a great defensive struggle between both of these ball clubs. Key late turnovers end up deciding that game, but C.J. Stroud only $188 in the air, no touchdowns and 1 interception, and a passer rating of 74.3. We'll see if they can turn the corner, but the Rams get an opening day victory behind a touchdown with Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua. 10 catches for $130, even after being checked for a concussion. The man is steel out there, people. Major League Baseball's on the docket next. Let's preview some games for today.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Dallas Cowboys losing that pass rush, losing another big impact player on the defensive side, all this does is make me like Dak Prescott more and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens more, because what we talked about all offseason, right, Matt, which is, hey, when Dak is healthy, he is a top 5 fantasy quarterback, and the defense we think is okay, but we think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. Now I definitely think there's going to be a lot more shootouts.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
The reason why I feel like Jared Goff doesn't really enter these MVP conversations. Jared Goff last year was on the team with the best record in football, threw for 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, and Tom was never in the race. He was never in the race because we know he's not that guy.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball, a couple quick news and notes before we break down and handicap some of those games today, which includes the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. But we talk about Cal Raleigh leading the Major League Baseball in home runs, dropped his 53rd home run yesterday, hit one late in a rout for the Seattle Mariners, Joe. Also, you have Shohei Ohtani. He hits 2 home runs for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But more importantly here, the Philadelphia Phillies do have a lead of 7 games in the NL East. They're going to start taking on the Mets, where the Mets sort of have their number a little bit this season. But Trey Turner, hamstring injury, whenever you hear hamstring, it's never a good sign. It's never a quick recovery, and you're down multiple weeks for the Fightin' Phils.
Yeah, and that's not great. But again, they have what, a 7-game lead now here on in the the National League East here. Listen, this is a very veteran-laden team. They could care less about it. They want a World Series. They know you just got to be in it to win it. I don't see them compromising Turner in any way, shape, or form. They'll let him rest until the postseason, as far as I'm concerned, Donnie. He's had a great season, but they're going to need him in a postseason run. So I don't know that we're going to see much of him the rest of the way.
No, and hopefully it's not anything worse. Whenever you get the MRI out there, you never know what it's going to show. 6 to 7 week injury, 2 to 3 week injury, but a hamstring always is never a good sign, particularly to a quick twitch athlete like Trey Turner. Let's get to the game tonight, though, in Philadelphia. The New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. Last time these two teams tangled, it was a straight-up sweep by the New York Mets. The Phillies probably just need to win one of these games, and it will be a wrap on the National League East division. McClain's going to be on the mound versus Nola, which you might just say, hey, no, Nola's on the mound. We should be good here. Actually a favorite here of minus 125 price point to the New York Mets. Why? Nolan McClain, last 45 days in Major League Baseball, not a ton of starts under his belt, but efficient starts show. A 1.37 ERA, an xFIP of 2.74, a SAR of 2.81. He's in much better form than Aaron Nola right now in a total that lists at 8.5. That Mets lineup crushes right-handed pitching. Nola can't afford to start slow again, otherwise the Phillies going to get beat in this game.
Yeah, not good. Not good. I mean, the Mets, though, congratulations. You swept the Phillies there late in August, right? But then you went on to lose 6 of your next 10 games while the Phillies went on to win 7 of their next 10. So, the race is over for the most part as far as this goes. But you got to love what you've seen from this kid, McClain. You got to be concerned if you're the Phillies in what you've gotten from Aaron Nola here. Both these teams can certainly hit right-handed pitching here, but my goodness, this feels like if Nola's on, it's a pretty good pitching battle. If he's not, it's the Mets in the first 5, as far as I'm concerned.
And again, Trey Turner, one of the leaders in Major League Baseball in base hits here, is not going to obviously be in that lineup. That hurts the Philadelphia Phillies. I do think the New York Mets right now should be a slight favorite over the Phillies, and they are. We'll see how that game plays out the rest of the day. And also that estimated starting lineup, particularly on the Phillies side, without Trey Turner, to see how they shake up that lineup just a little bit. Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. The Braves got crushed yesterday. The Cubs looking to try to track down the Brewers. Probably not going to happen, but more focused primarily on just winning a wild card and getting to the playoffs here. Imanaga, the lefty, is going to be on the mound going up against Bryce Elder. Elder is a terrible analytical pitcher, but it seems like sometimes when I bet against him, he throws gems like he's Cy Young out there, Joe. You look at the price point in this game, anywhere between minus 125s to minus 130s for the Chicago Cubs, and a total between 8.5 to 9. Just one of those guys I just can't figure out over the past couple of weeks, Bryce Elder.
Yeah, well, listen, he cost me money here. It's not just he has had 3 consecutive starts where he is pitching to a 1.35 ERA, 15 strikeouts in his last 20 innings. And, he's only allowed 4 walks and 1 home run over his last 3 starts. I'm going back to the well. I think this is a mirage. I'll be backing Atlanta early, the Cubs rather, early in this one. I'll back Imanaga, and I'll fade Elder here.
8.5 total. Let me just get a quick weather update. 75 degrees of first pitch, light wind blowing in from left field. We'll see how it plays out. But Elder, guys hurt me the past couple starts here. I don't know if I can make that decision again. Even if the numbers are telling me right now, I'm like, man, watch this guy pitch a gem tonight. Or he gives up 4 runs in the top of the first inning. Like, yeah, exactly. That's what he's supposed to do. Milwaukee and Texas. Texas on life alert right now, trying to make it into the playoffs. Probably won't do that. Milwaukee, they will make it into the playoffs. The only question is, are they going to be the number 1 overall seed? 2 left-handed pitchers on the mound today. Quintana for Milwaukee, and Latz for Texas, I should say. Rough price points here, bouncing back and forth. You see the graphic, minus 120. Some outlets minus 115, roughly a pick 'em, and a total at most outlets sitting at 8.5. Quintana, who again frustrates me to all ends, going up against Latz. 2 lefties in this game, Joe. Milwaukee getting the dub here. What do we anticipate here?
Well, unfortunately for Milwaukee, they had to leave PNC Park because they never lose a game there, and they out-hit and outscored again the Pittsburgh Pirates 19-5 over the weekend. But my goodness here, it's going to get a little tougher here, I think, in Arlington. The Rangers, they've climbed within, a game and a half of the Mariners for the last American League wildcard slot here. So they are 11-4 across their last 15. And by the way, ever since coming out of the bullpen, Bruce Bochy has taken Jacob Latch and actually moved him from being the long relief guy into a starter here. And the results have been pretty good, but I'm with you. Quintana, to me, has got regression coming. He's a contact pitcher. I don't know that that's going to play well here in this one. I like the home dog in this one.
Those sloppy curveballs there. Sometimes they work. We'll see if it does here tonight when they take on the Texas Rangers. That game's going to start up at 8:05 Eastern. Next game up here, Cincinnati, who is fighting for a playoff spot. They are cheering on the Philadelphia Phillies against the New York Mets so they can try to chase down the Mets here. They'll take on Darvish. Darvish opened up overnight, Joe. We're at a minus 150 favorite. Still in that range. Minus 145s, minus 140s in the landscape out here, depending on which sports book that you are betting with. 7.5 as a total, so the expectations, I should say, aren't that high for runs being scored. The Padres, back home, taking on the Reds.
Yeah, the Reds are just there. It's unfortunate there. Lodolo going there against Darvish. It feels like a good opportunity maybe to look at an under in this game here. So it's a good pitcher's ballpark. I do not trust the Cincinnati offense against quality pitching. I think maybe an under in this one is not a bad look, even at 7.5.
St. Louis and Seattle. Miles Michaelis on the mound had a good pitching performance his last effort here. I don't know if he's going to get the same thing, but we do have a low total in this game, taking on the Mariners at 7.5, but a monster favorite for Mr. Wu and the Mariners at close to minus 230, depending on where you're shopping at. Heavy favorite. Now, understand this too, Joe. Somebody was in Atlanta yesterday. Somebody's playing in Seattle tonight. That's a long trip across coast. Like, oh, look at that, 18 runs. They should easily be able to get 5 off Michaelis. I think I might be betting that they will do that, but we know how this works out. 18 runs to 1 run, and congratulations, Michaelis.
Yeah, 28 runs and 31 hits over the weekend in
Bang,
just
bang, bang.
clubbing Atlanta to death. Yeah, that was good. But you're right. Prior to that, Donnie, it had been awful. They lost seven of the six of the first 7 games on this 9-game road trip. So they ended it well. Woo is good here, but that's it. You're asking. It's a tough situation here for the Mariners travel wise. But Mikolas, strangely enough, like Elder. Yeah, he's burned me over the last couple of starts because he's not getting lit up like you would expect him to do it. I think the hot hitting of the Mariners continues, though. I can only look towards them here.
Hammer that bum out here. By the way, Dollander's on the mound for the Colorado Rockies playing out the string against the Dodgers. How about Emmett Sheehan, a -300 favorite? Who is this? Cy Young out there? Emmett Sheehan? -319. Hey.
Have we not learned that the Dodgers at this point cannot be trusted as a $3 favorite? No, the only way I could look is the Rockies here. Dog or pass for me. They just did it in Colorado, remember? As the $3 favorite, they ended up, Colorado beat them. Not going there.
The Dodgers are playing great baseball. Like, hey, the Dodgers are closing in on a record 120th win of the season. Not even playing great baseball. Yep. Anything can happen in that type of environment. Where do I think the Dodgers win? Yeah, of course I do. The Rockies are terrible, but at the same time, he ain't laying a -300 price point there. NFL news and notes coming up next, right here on the early line. Your Sports Grid Day is just underway, people. We'll be right back.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Dallas Cowboys losing that pass rush, losing another big impact player on the defensive side, all this does is make me like Dak Prescott more and CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens more, because what we talked about all offseason, right, Matt, which is, hey, when Dak is healthy, he is a top 5 fantasy quarterback, and the defense we think is okay, but we think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. Now I definitely think there's going to be a lot more shootouts.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
The reason why I feel like Jared Goff doesn't really enter these MVP conversations. Jared Goff last year was on the team with the best record in football, threw for 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, and Tom was never in the race. He was never in the race because we know he's not that guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL news and notes right here on a Monday edition of the Early Line. Absolutely. It's Donnie Right Side. It's Joe Ranieri. It's what we do, man. We get you guys ready for this week. We get you guys ready for the Monday night game, but also take a look back at what actually happened and what should be happening in the future. I'll tell you one thing. Xavier Worthy, not going to be playing football anytime soon. Now, football players are tough. We get that. Shoulder injuries on a smaller wide receiver that takes one more shot and could make things worse, that's never going to help. Pain tolerance, always one of the things that you want to take a look at. But Xavier Worthy will return. It looks like he's going to have to wear a harness, but we just don't know the exact timeline, Joe. My expectations are he's probably not playing this week, and the Chiefs really can't afford that. 0-1 on the season, playing the Philadelphia Eagles. You drop to 0-2 and still say that let's just say Worthy isn't available for another week at least, you know Rice isn't coming back. This is a tough time for the Chiefs' skill position players.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, they were thin. We knew it heading into that game in Brazil here, but yeah, that's not great. And it happened so early on, and it was clearly, somebody was running the wrong route there because Kelsey didn't see him coming. He didn't see Kelsey coming, and Kelsey's a little bit bigger than Worthy. And next thing you know, you pop the guy's shoulder out, and that's worse than hitting a line. In fact, if that was a defender, that would have been a flag. But I don't think you can flag Kelsey for taking out his own player. Can you, Donnie? I mean, that's how big a hit it was.
Fine him. Absolutely fine the guy at this point. George Kittle, won't see him anytime soon here. I know a lot about injuries. My senior year, Joe, I played every single football game of my college career except one. I tore my hamstring on a deep route against Fairleigh Dickinson. Had to miss the next week, but came back after that because there was no red shirts and I was graduating. So I was like, hey, let me take this last 2 games off. Like, no, I actually played through a torn hamstring. That's the way you get down. But the NFL, they're not letting anybody playing through torn hamstrings here. Kittle couldn't finish that game. You know exactly when you hurt that hamstring. That's a multi-week injury and a devastating blow to one of the better tight ends in football.
Yeah, no, and he started off well. I mean, he scored the first touchdown, and then it was like, well, where is he? And then, yeah, no, never good there with the situation where you lose another big part of the offense there in Kittle, the safety valve for Purdy. So the injuries, once again, I mean, continue to mount here. Fred Warner, Trent Williams, now Kittle. They still don't have, thank goodness they got Juwan Jennings back, although he left in the fourth quarter with a shoulder injury. So, not good here for the 49ers.
I'll tell you what else isn't good. The New York Giants themselves. I love beating them like a piñata because how poorly that they are run. When you come into the season, you have a game plan for what the anticipation is going to be. You made Russell Wilson the starter, not because you wanted to play 1 week, regardless of performance. It was Jackson Dart's going to be our future quarterback here. If I don't think he's ready for week number 1, we're not going to have a good season anyway. Let me slow play this and take all the pressure off Dart. So when he's ready to play football, he's not rushed into there. So what does brain dead Brian Dable, that's his new name for me right now, do? After the post-game press conference, it's a simple answer to a question. Hey, what do you think about Russell Wilson? He's our starter. He's going to start in week number 2. Even if you don't want to believe it at this time, it shows leadership. The fact that you just had a football game, got beat 21-6, they asked you a question on your quarterback when your guy that you wanted to be starting for the entire season is now up in the air after one football game. Joe, make some sense to me about what Brian Dable and his organization is actually doing and then saying at the same time. It's baffling to me.
Well, listen, I mean, this was all suspect. They had such a good preseason. Starters played, there was actually a pretty good vibe here in this Giants locker room, but a lot of that had to do with Jackson Dart playing as well as he did, but at no point did Dable ever differ on his opinion that Russell's our starter and that's going to be that? Well, yeah, I don't know. When you have 7 plays from the 3-yard line on 2 separate possessions and the only thing you get is 3 points, yeah, I am not sure how long we're going to see Russ behind this offensive line, which isn't great. But at the same time, Donnie, how many more losses like this are the Giants going to allow before they're like, yeah, it's Dart time, let's go?
Yeah, they're bozo owners. As long as you win a game late in December, they'll ruin your draft position. He'll cheer wildly, and away you go into the sunset at this point. So they are so poorly run from an ownership, general manager, and head coaching standpoint. There's no way but up is what you usually say, but yet they say and do the dumbest things absolutely possible. Good luck this year, and the Giants fans. Hey, look, cheer on losses, cheer on the firing of that regime, but anybody else in the NFC, just win 4 games this year, Giants, because you know what? That brain-dead owner you have with a brain-dead head coach, they'll both be back next year, and we'll love life here as NFC East fans. How about this? Derrick Henry should have been in a victory. Passes Jim Brown on the touchdowns list here. I don't know. I watched Henry run for 3 quarters in that game. I was like, you can't stop this guy, and they lost the game. I'm still lost for words in that game, Joe. I am.
Yeah, well, when you're making history, scoring 40 or more points, and you're up, at least 15 or more points heading into the fourth quarter, 772-0 is the record of those teams that had did that until after last night. 772-1 now because the Ravens looked completely lost in the final 9 minutes of that game.
By the way, Stafford passes 60,000 passing yards. He's 17, 18 years into the league. And they had a graphic yesterday on the screen, Joe. It's like, second fastest to do this. I was like, well, who's the first fastest? The first guy to actually get to 60,000 was an odd statistic. But this guy continues to say, you know what? Father Time, stay over there on that sideline. Picked up a victory. Wasn't all that impressive on the offensive side, but still a victory. Still 60,000 passing yards in the career here for Matthew Stafford. How about that? Oh, man.
Well, you know where he was impressive? He took a few hits and had no problem getting up. So the idea that, that back is no, he's been dealing with a bad back for 5 years. And he took a few shots yesterday. Got up, no problem. But you know where he was impressive, Donnie, is when they needed a score in the fourth quarter, and then they needed a first down in order to put the game away. And guess what? He delivered. That is why he is one of the best to play the game.
Lamar Jackson, we're looking at you. By the way, any knee concerns for Bowers here? One of the better tight ends in football. Came up a little bit lame there against the New England Patriots. Any thoughts on that, Joe?
Yeah, well, I don't know what Vrabel is doing with Drake May in this offense, but my goodness, looked like he was waving the white flag way before that game was over yesterday.
Drake May and the boys struggling. One of those teams that you couldn't quite get a grip on where it's going to be a really good season or just a ho-hum season. Vrabel, I think, is going to be able to turn that around. We'll see if that happens, but not a good look to lose opening day to the Raiders in your own building. Let's close this show down with style next, right here.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're going to have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month. That is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're going to win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's the Yankee tax and the Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe. Right. I don't think it's a great football team, but still a ranked team. And then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I may have ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Reaching out to the people. It's what we love to do on the early line. In this segment, we do reach out to the public. We ask those questions, Joe Ranieri, that the public needs to know. And also, the fact of the matter, are we going to fade the public? People in the responses, Joe, not happy with this poll. Why? Because they wanted a neither option. We said, well, Donnie, what was the actual question? Well, you would know if you follow us at SportsGrid on X. Who will go over their passing prop tonight in Vikings versus Bears? Williams, 218.5. McCarthy, 220.5, or both. 66% are backing Caleb Williams. 25% are backing J.J. McCarthy. 9.2 are backing both. And Brian Hager and TB0123456789 said the correct option to basically neither of these quarterbacks going over, Joe. If you had a vote in this, which you do, where did you go?
Well, the guy with 27 numbers in his handle there, I think, has a point, Donnie. There should be, there should absolutely be a neither, because that's exactly where I think this game is heading. We've already seen the total drop from the open, right? You've got two quarterbacks, new offenses, two pretty good offensive-minded head coaches, really good offensive-minded head coaches, but two stacked defenses here. I don't know that we're going to get a ton of throwing the ball all over the yard. If I had to guess, I think Williams is probably the guy that's got the better shot of going over his passing props.
Yeah, we'll see if we do tonight. Because, again, this is week number 1 and week number 2 in the NFL. Your mind's going to play tricks on you here. Like, I would love to see a higher scoring game, but the odds makers are calling for that, Joe. Low 40s as a total, two quarterbacks without a ton of experience, particularly there, obviously with J.J. McCarthy. But I think you might get some surprises tonight. We certainly should have some fun with that as we go. But also, Joe, as we like to end these shows, to give the people what they want, bets that they can win on, it's time for Bye, Bye, Bye. I know Joe's got the NFL handled tonight, Joe. Where are we going in the NFL tonight? One game, one winner. Give it to us.
All right. Well, I'm going to give the viewing audience options here tonight. All right. Couple of different ways you can approach this. But for those of you that have an available same game teaser, I would look tonight at getting the Bears up and over. The key number is 7. Currently, it's sitting at 1.5. A 6-point teaser is going to give me the Bears over a touchdown.
Ooh.
And I'm sorry, I don't think we're getting a ton of offense in this game. The total at 43.5 would lead me to go, let's tease it up to 49.5 and look to the under in that one. You can get it. Don't pay more than 120 on teasers. If you are, please don't. But you can, this is widely available here, but give me the Bears over a touchdown and give me the under 49.5 and that 6-point teaser, or just take Chicago as a teaser now and pair it up with a game in week 2, like the Cardinals at home, who are currently a 6.5-point favorite. Get them down to a pick 'em, and all they have to do is beat the Panthers.
Open-ended teasers by Joe Ranieri, setting up your week 1 and your week 2 in style. That's the way we get down. We'll watch it play out tonight on that NFL field. But I always like teasers when you take the under. Like you're winning until you aren't, as opposed to you take the over as you're losing till you aren't. So we'll see if some things play out tonight in the Chicago Bears-Minnesota Vikings game. I'm going to go over to Major League Baseball tonight, Joe, and I'm going to go out to Anaheim. That's the Minnesota Twins taking on the Angels. Woods Richardson going up against Dana on the mound. The total is listed at 9. I think we go over this total. Simeon Woods Richardson did have a good start to the season. Got that mysterious illness where he got a parasite taken out of his intestine. Hasn't been the same pitcher. And you take a look at Dana, not a great pitcher either. Both of these two teams should at least get 3 runs apiece, Joe, which is going to put you in the ballpark for extra innings and certainly more runs late in this game. Give me the over 9 between the Twins and the Angels tonight. So we got football, we got baseball, doubleheader going on. That's what I like to see.
Yep, gotta love that. Actually like that a lot. Don't like Woods Richardson at all. I do think some runs are certainly coming in that game. And I'm going to be very interesting to see what do we get from Crochet tonight. I'm shocked Boston isn't a bigger favorite than what they are in Sacramento against the Athletics. But he gave up a few more runs than I thought he would in that last start as well. Maybe slowing down a little bit on it.
New week, new money, as we like to say. And by the way, Joe, we had a great college football today show with Joe Lisi on Saturday. And as I was saying, you know me, I only eat one time a day. I have to delay my meal. I ate an entire pizza driving home because it's about an hour-and-a-half ride, along with 2 bagels and a large fry. That was my meal. And somehow I'm down 55 pounds over the past 2 years, Joe. Come on, can I get you on this team, or we can eat anything we want, 1 meal a day, and still lose weight? It's fantastic. What do you think?
I am all about the liquid diet, Donnie. So you eat your carbs.
Beer and alcohol and Jack
way.
Daniels. He's Joe. I'm Donnie. We'll see you bright and early for another edition of the Early Line tomorrow. See ya.